Hey, how you guys doing today? Good evening. Kind of a late start. Had to handle a little something. Hold on a second. There you go. First and foremost, um, with some stuff going on with my side gig and everything. Um, today today is something I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks. As you can see, it's about the topic's about watching my brother's six or watching each other's six. Um, my mindset is I'm always looking, also watching my 12, my three, my six, and my nine. I'm watching all around me, not because of what everybody. I'm watching my brothers and sisters to in the front, to the back, to the left, to the right. Why? This is a military mindset. It's not a civilian, and I'm going to say this, even though people are first responders and firefighters or police officers, they're still civilians unless they served in the armed forces, and then that makes them a veteran. But you're still a civilian. Just that's how I view it, and that's how it's always going to be. What I've been thinking about lately is how bad addiction is running rampant in all fire departments. We're in or just first responders, police, military, but we're just going to say in the fire department at this point. Um, well, we'll just go back and also say, just all first responder services, to be honest. Um, but a lot of times, and I'm going to use this. I don't know much about the police academy, but I'm going to use this as a foundation that probably does trickle over into police department. In our department, when we walk into the uh, the main classroom, you look on the left and to the right, and there's banners, a row of banners. And a few of them, there's so many, it's been so long, only a few pop out. Um, and this is cool because it transfers over from the military. So, loyalty, brotherhood, camaraderie. Those are the main three that really pop out. Oh, family too. They're all family. When I came in the military, we were family, no matter what. We always watched each other six. Um, but we never knew about addiction. We knew a little bit, but really, we didn't really run into that because if somebody urinated hot or something, they got written up. Article 15, do it again. Another Article 15, do it again, you're kicked out. So they eliminated that really quick. But people don't realize we're going to call this the Trinity, or the Trinity. We're going to go into that next, and we're going to see why this carries over. When I went to rehab, I seen so many first responders, and a majority of them were firefighters from other departments nationwide. We had people from California to Ohio to Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, New York. We had a lot, and the majority of them were firefighters, and a handful were law enforcement, but most of them, maybe like two or three, really. And it just shows which department seriously has a higher risk of addiction problems. And and we're going to go into this in a minute. Watching your six, but right now we're going to go into what I just mentioned, what I call the unholy trinity. Everybody knows everything starts with PTSD. Everybody on the job has one way, shape, or form of PTSD. So many are in denial of that because, and we're going to ixnay this in a minute. From PTSD, if you don't get the help you need, it trickles into addiction, whether it's drugs or alcohol. Any addiction, any vice, whatever. We're going to go with drugs and alcohol. If that don't get taken care of, with that drugs and alcohol is I don't count that separate. I count it as an accumulation. You start getting depressed. And once that depression starts coming, that PTSD increases, that drinking and drugging increases, and then the final stamp, suicide. It happens. That's how that happens. There's no other way you could debate, no other way. That's exactly how it happens. PTSD left unchecked, uncared for, unattended. You start self-medicating. Self-medication brings depression. It all intertwines. From all that together, boom, you're eating a bullet. How many of us on the job have gotten that call at 2:30, 3 in the morning? A fellow firefighter is committed suicide. And I'm sure there's a lot of others out there. When I came on the job, I came in with the military mindset of brotherhood, sisterhood too, camaraderie, loyalty, family, got each other's back. How many of us really have that? How many of the members out there really actually call and just randomly check on somebody? Yo, man, you good? You looked a little on edge today. You okay? What's going on? Let's talk. We all spend time texting, but we have that brother or sister's phone number saved. And the only reason many people reach out on a lot of jobs, and I don't know about other jobs, our job has MXTs. The only time a lot of people reach out is for MXT swap. Yo, I need you. You got me? But there's never that, hey, are you good? There's a saying when people hear something, tell a phone, tell a friend, tell a firefighter. It goes really quick. People know your business. But even then, when people know your business, do anybody ever reach out and say, yo, you good? I got you. Not many people I know do that. On this job, we see a lot of stuff that normal people shouldn't see. And I'm not saying the police don't know, they see their fair share. We're saying as a firefighter, because I'm a fireman, we work with our team or our platoon every day, 4 days a week. Some departments, I think, such as Delaware, does one 24-hour shift. Then they're off 5 days, and they're back on 24 hours. Now, I don't know how that works, but some do that. We work 4 straight, 2 days, 2 nights, and we're in the firehouse with our platoon all the time. And then we're off for 4 days. During those 4 days, you learn a lot as you're working with people. You learn, if you sit back and observe and you watch, you learn how people carry themselves. You learn their character. You learn their day in and day out activities and actions. You know when they're in a good mood and when they're in a bad mood. You know when something's bothering them. But you learn their patterns, per se. In the military, we did the same thing, and we always said, watch your brother 6. I got you 6. I got you 6. It means I got your back on everything. Legal, that is. That's very important, being in the profession that we are in, where if you do statistics, there's so much addiction that runs rampant through all fire departments, but nobody, and it just starts with PTSD. A vast majority of it. Some starts with just issues at home and accumulates and accumulates. Some of it is, we're not going to pick and choose of what starts with. So let's just keep that open, but we're going to focus on the PTSD. When we see our brothers and sisters starting to go through problems, and a lot of it does stem with PTSD, because it goes into, you're bringing that at home. Now you're different. Now you're shunning your family away. And an occasional, hey, I just had a bad call, I'm going to go for a walk, or I just got to decompress. But if it's consistent and starts wearing you down, we have this fire pride, and it's sort of aggravating. And again, I talk to a lot of different departments, randomly, just getting the idea. Every department nationwide, we go through the academy saying, if you have a problem, if you see somebody with a problem, talk with them. If you have a problem, talk about it. Don't let it fester, because we have a job where we got to be on razor point sharp. But then when we get to the field, it's, you keep that to yourself, kid. That's weakness. I'm okay. I've been doing this for 30 years. And I told you in the last one, those guys have been doing it for 20 plus years. I guarantee if you go home and you ask how much they drink one night, they're going to tell you. And that's a side effect of self-medication. When we see our brothers and sisters starting to act out of character, their demeanor's changing, and it's consistent and it's getting worse, we got to do something. It's not just say send them downtown. No. You want to try to check on them and talk and say, I got your six, and I mean I got your six. What's up? And let's go talk. Maybe all they need to have you here is listen. Maybe they just need a hug. But it seems the majority of the time on the job, everybody's too busy and wrapped up that they don't watch each other's back. There's a saying that we go by. Everybody goes to work together. Everybody comes home together. That just doesn't mean when there's a fire. That means all the time. The worst thing you could ever feel is knowing when somebody that you've known ain't coming back to work the next day. And it wasn't because of the job or firefighting or falling through the floor or building falling on them. It's because they hit a bullet. So how can we really live by that? Those banners, family, loyalty, integrity, brotherhood, camaraderie. How can we have that when we're not walking that, when we don't have each other's six? People find it an inconvenience to check on somebody. If you could spend, and I challenge you to this, there's an algorithm on social media and YouTube too, where you can see how many hours you were on. And you can go look at your history of watching YouTube videos, whatever you watch your stuff on, and you can see what the algorithm sets, what you're always watching. And that's why you see these things popping up. Metaform, or whatever it is, anyway, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they're all on the same platform. So if your algorithm is on one, it's going to pop up on another. And it has time that you spent on it. The average person can spend like 2-3 hours throughout the day watching, swiping, laughing. So if you're on the fire department, you're going to tell me out of those 3 hours, you have no time to check on somebody, to really have somebody six. Now, you got to look at where that came from. All right. We got to look at, let's go back to the Spartans' time. Phalanx, I think. Phalanx, which grouped over into the Roman. We're not going to get into history, but the Romans took it from Greece. And the phalanx is triangle, wedges, interlocking shields. They were in waves, one behind another, behind another. So as you're up here in the front, your buddy's got your six. To the left, to the right. Guy behind you who's waiting to take your spot or has got your back because it's a wave. Boom, 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 boom. It's that way everybody's a fresh body. But that's where that comes from. If you look at the Viking era, shield wall. Brother, got me? Yeah. Shield wall, protecting everybody. Got your six, military lingo. I got your back. So you can see where the history comes from in that rich and military history. In the fire department, a lot of us, we fail at that. We see the signs. Hell, we run courses online about that all the time. Or a lot of our con eds are about PTSD and all of that. There's clinics on it. There's information on that. They got workshops on it. There's stuff all over PTSD Mental Awareness Month, Suicide Awareness Month. And a lot of it is amongst first responders. That flag, for instance, the one that's red, green, and blue, it's for that reason as well. This is becoming a big issue because it seems like nobody wants to take the time and listen. And then when that person bites the bullet, literally, they're laid up in their coffin. They're having everybody coming in their uniforms, posing. I'm gonna put it out there, posing. When that person is on your platoon or in your company or just somebody you know, and they're asking, hey man, you got a minute? And you pawn them off, you could have done something. But yet, people always want to say, I got this 6. But some, it's only a select few, which is unethical in the fire department. Any job, really. As a first responder department nationwide, all departments, we wear the same colors. We wear blue. Some different colors of blue, but we wear blue. We work together. We fight fires together. You know, we drive the engine together, anything and everything. And there's some that when you're a medic, you're teamed up with somebody different. And even in the medic unit, you got to have each other's 6. You know, it's very important because our lives depend on each other's lives. And it's just not, man, it was a good shift. But a lot of us carry that shit home. A lot of us seen so much stuff. And everybody says with PTSD that, and we talked about this already, some people it happens too quicker. Remember, it's not who's seen more, it's just one event that could spark it. So you got one person that's seen a ton of stuff and then that one event could just hit it down, boom, downward spiral. One person just takes one bad event. It's just how we are. We're not the same as each other. Some people are more durable. Some people can handle stuff a lot longer. Some people have a higher threshold, whatever you want to call it. Don't make you better than the person next to you. You know, it just means that's you, who you are. But we have to understand what we see, normal people shouldn't see. And PTSD leads to drinking, and unattended, self-medication. You know, we're afraid to go see our EAP. We're afraid to go see help because we view that as a sign of weakness. It's really not. It's a sign of strength, courage. If you're losing sleep, and I'm telling you from firsthand experience, pushing people away, and your loved ones see that, then you need to listen to them. Being serious, you know, you gotta listen to them. You know, and people at work, if you know your team so well and if someone's out of character, pull them aside. You're in a firehouse all day, and I've seen a lot of this on the firehouse all day. Doing that all day. You can't take the time to look at the one person that you might know who's going through problems and be like, yo, let's talk. Sometimes that's all they need. Man, I feel good. Man, yeah, nothing serious, but hey, this is what's going on. You got to talk to somebody. You want to go talk to the Lou, Cap, Chief? You want me to call the EAP? No, I'm good, man. I'll check on you later. All right? Text them later that night. Yep. You good? Check on them. Offer each other. Hey, look, I like fishing. I'm getting back into it. Ask them. Hey, let's go hang out, man. You know, I don't drink. I've been sober for over a year now. And this is what we are proud about, you know, sobriety. And this is a big part of sobriety is if you have PTSD, get that taken care of. You know, make PTSD your bitch, part of my French. When we start self-medicating, that's the wrong way to go. And we do that a lot of times, that's the culture in the fire department. Ask any firefighter, international to national. Ask anybody, hey, what's the main? They're going to tell you, we go out and we drink. It's not the good way to deal with it. How many of you guys, when somebody had problems, oh, let's go grab a beer and talk. You're not talking now. You're throwing freaking JPA on fire. It's going to go off really quick. Self-medication is the next step, and is not the way to go because it gets out of hand. There's no controlling it once you go down there. You lost control. Your first step of controlling was PTSD. But the first step before that was somebody, your brother and your sister, watching your 6. Making sure you're okay, both physically and mentally and emotionally. You know, I know many firefighters who lost buddies they rode into work with in a fire. You know, check on them. You know, always check on them because you don't know what kind of war or battle they're fighting. And everybody says, I'm not their babysitter. I'm not their. You're not. If that's what you feel you are, then you're wrong. You're missing the idea of watching your partner, your battle buddy six. And it's not just a select few, man, that guy's a jerk off. You know, no. You put all that at the door because you're all working together. You know, we're on a job where we also work with different people, characters, beliefs, um, religion, political views. You got to put all that aside and know you're here to do your job, to look after each other, and to protect the citizens of whatever city you belong in, or town or borough, depends on where you're at. Um, but you got to have each other six. Always do a checkup. In the beginning, I said check up from the head up or the neck up. Never, not always check up down for the neck down for the neck up. Because this is what's important. And sometimes it takes somebody to check on. Hey, man, you good? Let me tell you something. When people would randomly text me, yo, bro, are you good? Man, that felt good. Because he was like, man, all right, yeah. No, I'm not okay. Got a minute? Yeah, do you need help? And then those are that's how we work with each other. That's how we live by those banners that we see: camaraderie, loyalty, family, brotherhood, sisterhood. That's how you live by that. That's how you strengthen those bonds amongst your team. Because the next step, if it goes unattended, is going to be you're going to have to go to rehab. You're going to lose hours because if you show up drunk or high or any suspicion, you're going to get rigged. And you're going to get gigged. You're going to be like, you got to go and get help. Now you're losing hours. Some departments, if you come hot, they take your hours. So hopefully, it don't get that far. And a lot of times, if it goes left unattended, it ends in suicide. All this could go and be not prevented, could be proactive with a simple, I got your six, brother. Let's talk. And it's not hard. It's just today's mindset is I got my own issues to deal with. I got this. You know what? Then it could turn into a good conversation. Man, you're talking to me. It's what's going on with you? Well, now you're learning about each other. You're putting all your BS aside and you're learning to be a support system. That's what it is. And how can that carry over into AA and for the civilian minded people? It's easy. They have all these numbers that are on the board in some AA meetings where they pass them around. Or if you hear somebody's story, don't wait for a sponsor. You don't have to have a sponsor to help you. Sometimes it's just helping each other and you're growing and you're learning and you're being there for each other in AA. AA, like we always say, it's a brotherhood, but it's not the one I wanted to join as a child. But it's got to be treated as such because, again, watching each other six. There's times when I went to a meeting and somebody had a rough day. I didn't know who they were. Hey, man, you good? Have a cup of coffee? Yeah. And we sit outside in the BS. And sometimes that's all you need. That's all they need. Sometimes it's therapy for you because now you're watching out for somebody. And you're starting to see it. That means you're starting to grow and you care. But for the military mindset, watching your six isn't just going on a mission and coming home or running into a fire and coming home. Or if you're a cop running into a barricaded person or whatever you guys do, I don't know. But you catch the gist of it. It's making sure we are all right even on our off days. Because sometimes when you're on work, you're just on that mode. You're going home, hug the kid, kiss the wife, pet the dog, go to bed, get back up, do it again. Repeat for 4 days. Now you're 4 days off, you decompress. And that's a lot of times where it hits you, what you've seen, what you did, what you've been through, close calls. and that starts weighing on and sometimes we got to watch our own six. Sometimes when that red flags are going off and you really know yourself, reach out to somebody, not just for an MXT. Hey, you just got a minute? Text them. I just got a minute, you know, and here's my dog. Here's my dog. Um, but watching your six, sometimes, guys, this is therapeutic too. Having a dog, spending time with the dog. You know, they're very therapeutic pets to have. They know when you're upset. She knows. She knows when I'm upset or when I'm going through um, one of my PTSD bouts. And I suffer. I don't suffer. I hate that word. It's something I deal with on a regular basis. And sometimes she'll know when something's bothering me. And bring it to my attention. You know, but you got to be. Sometimes you got to watch your own six. You gotta know yourself. It's self-awareness, mindful, emotional, physical awareness, and you feel it. One of those trigger points is your body tightens up, you start hyperventilating, you start zoning out, you start feeling ill because it's all the cortisol. You know, Emotional, you start feeling like crap. Mental, you start asking, man, is this worth living? Um, See how it all goes into play. You got to be self-aware. Sometimes, like I said, if somebody doesn't have your six, you got to be the first to have your six. But sometimes it's good to have somebody be like, yo, you're not right. What's going on? So everybody out there, I implore you, a lot of it, I'm not saying nothing could be prevented, but you could be proactive and putting maybe a barrier between A and B. Maybe we could be proactive and help the person at step A, which would be PTSD, because we all have it. I don't care who you are. You can deny it all you want. That's denial. The more you deny it, it's going to kick in. You're going to avoid it, and then you're going to go on to being, self-medicating. At that point there, it's a slippery slope. And most of the time, that slope goes down, you know, and down and down and down till you got to find a way to get out of that pit, or, a lot of times it can be prevented. And it starts with people watching each other six. And again, I hear it all the time, hey man, watch your six, I got your six, but nobody really does. Very few people. All it takes is a quick text to somebody or a phone call. Hey man, thinking about you. You good? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. But you know what? I had this little problem. Got a minute? Yeah, I got a short bit. That's brotherhood. That's sisterhood. That's camaraderie. That's family. That's loyalty. Everything we talked about, we've seen grown up on the fire department shows and the movies. You see that. But the question is are you really living that? So I'm trying to bring a military mindset and how does this go over into rehab? It's prevention. You're being preventive and you're being proactive. You're not being reactive and waiting back for that person to fall or yourself to fall. And look, for us individuals, don't be afraid to ask for help. All that fire department myth, we're okay, we could do it, we chalk it up, because no, it's not okay. You're not weak if you ask for help. You're strong. Weak is avoiding it and avoiding it and avoiding it. And then when you're sitting there looking at a barrel, looking down a barrel of a gun or down the neck of a bottle, you're thinking, maybe, how did I get here? Is this worth living for? You don't want to get to that point. Trust me, you don't. It could all be prevented if we put aside as an individual our pride, our stubbornness, and know we are human. We're not invincible. are not superheroes, we're humans. And here we go. A lot of us took this job because we want to help people. As a firefighter is what we do, but who we are is compassionate human beings. And we have to have compassion on ourselves and know when we need to get help. We're out there helping people every single day. How many of you actually responded to I know a lot of you have responded to a suicidal patient or person wanting to commit suicide, or mental, behavioral, or emotional, depends on whatever it comes over, and they plug it in on the system. And you walk in and you start talking to them. You know what? Sometimes while you're waiting for the EMS to get there, that's therapeutic, man. And you're going to be honest, and trust me, those people there, you do make a difference when you open those times. You know what? There's been times I've opened up with somebody who's been on the verge of suicide or a mental, emotional situation, where I've walked in, I've opened up to a perfect stranger. Don't know them. They don't know me. Will I ever see them again? I don't know. Probably not. But I do know at that point there, they felt better because they opened up and I was able to relate. So look at it as that way. Sometimes you just open up to the different people who is there with you. And a lot of times it feels good. We gotta look after ourselves. If you realize that, we gotta make sure we're healthy, to perform our duties as a fireman. Because we're out there with our sworn statement. So we got to watch our six at times. You got to know when you're at that break, at that point, I got to talk to somebody. A lot of people are afraid because they don't want to be looked at as weak. Well, who cares what people think? Are they going to take care of your family if you do something stupid? If you get ordered to go down to rehab and you lose 80 plus hours of pay, maybe sometimes it's a month depending on how many times it's reoccurred. Are they going to sit there and pay for everything to help you out? No, you got to figure it out. Hopefully you got your savings account stacked. A lot of times the first line of defense is knowing ourselves. How much can we handle? And I never say push that theory to the test. Don't. No. The minute you start thinking and feeling like, wow, just not you, and your family sees that, your first line of defense is going to be you, and your second line, I'm going to be honest, is going to be your family, your wife, your husband, your kids, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, whoever. They're going to be the next ones. What's going on? You're not right. You're drinking more than normal. You're being withdrawn more than normal. Some people, they've never been a withdrawn person, and now something's out of character. Listen to them. That is your front line. You are your front line. The second line would be your significant other. And if you say, I don't have a significant other, well, then it's going to be your job. They're your coworkers. And they're going to notice something's off, especially if it's your lieutenant or your captain. They're going to notice, what's going on here? You're out of character. Let's talk. But but you got to sit there and also sometimes initiate that. Hey, I got to talk to somebody. I need to go to the EAP. And listen, they got different types of rehabs out there, rehab centers. The one I went to, HOG, they had one for alcohol and drug addiction or addiction period. And then they had ones strictly for PTSD. And the ones for PTSD focus strictly on how to handle PTSD and what to do. The ones for us guys that just became addicted, it was both PTSD and addiction. So we had a double dose, and they always said, you are your first line of defense. You have to know yourself. Every morning you get up, systems check. Plain and simple. Every time before you go to bed, systems check. Am I okay? Am I good? Don't lie to yourself. Nah, I'm not good. I got to make a phone call. Get on that phone. I know that some departments got peer teams that respond because sometimes the EAP is 24 hours, sometimes it's not. So they got peer teams put into play where they'll come. Hey, and the first thing I always ask, are you feeling suicidal? If you say yes, you're not going to get in trouble, people. You're not. This is when you got to be honest. The first line of defense with yourself is being honest with yourself. You have to watch your six. When you're honest, they're going to come down and they're going to be like, listen, we got to get you in the EAP. We got to get you help. And if you're a veteran and you got VA access, take yourself right down in the center. Let me tell you something. If you call your boss and you say, I need to talk to the EAP, I'm going to the VA crisis center, I'm not feeling right, they're going to take you. Let me tell you something. They ain't going to let you drive. A lot of them would come right down here, hop in, we're going to go. And sometimes that's even better because, you're still getting the help you need. And a lot of times, some departments, you're at the VA crisis center, they'll put the paperwork in to transfer you to a rehab center that not targets, but specifically helps you with PTSD or addiction. Is better than the other alternative where some people go to jail. And then that's even a bigger headache. Or they're sitting here with the bullet ready to eat it. That's even bigger of a headache. Now you got to get the police involved, and now your chief's going to try to be one that can recognize yourself. You got to know yourself when you're not okay. That's watching your six. As far as members out there, if you see a buddy going down that road, that slippery slide, don't wait and avoid it. Be proactive. A lot of them think you're going to rat them out. Listen, guys, if your teammate is concerned and says, we got to get you to do something because you're going to, don't get pissed off. Agree with them because they care enough about you and about the success of the team to get you the help that you need. Don't think of it as an attack because it is not an attack. They're concerned. Because if you come to work and you're not firing on all 100% of your cylinders and something goes down, member gets hurt, you drop the ball, you shit the bed, and something bad happens, a lot of this can be prevented by being proactive. You get the help you need, you listen to people. And the last thing, because the next step is self-medication leads to you coming to work tanked. And I'm telling you, all those tricks in the book, let me get my mouth washed, let me get the Tic Tacs, let me get the mint gum, the spray stuff, it ain't going to work because you sweat it out. And plus, also, when you're stumbling everywhere and slurring your words, that's a dead giveaway. You don't want that. Now you're under the radar. Now you're being forced to go. And you're going to get pissed off. Why? Because you got caught. Not pissed off at the fact you got to go get help. Pissed off at the fact you got caught. Why? You let it get out of hand. 2, even though, no, I agree, nobody's each other's babysitters, but it's also our responsibility to look after each other. Something's not right with Joe Schmo. You smell like alcohol. You got to get help. You got to get out of here. You cannot work. And that means going in front of the chief, going in front of the officer, squaring your member away. That's called being a battle buddy. And a lot of people hate that, but once you sober up and you get dialed back in, you're going to be grateful. Man, I appreciate you getting me, looking after me the best you can. And a lot of it starts with you as that person going through those problems. Got to watch your six. It goes deep. How this happens. A lot of it can be prevented by watching your six. Doing a mental health check, systems check. The military, I forgot what it was called. We got to check all our vehicles every PMCS. I think it was PMCS. Every morning we would do a PMCS, and looking back at it, it's doing the same stuff over and over. Start the car, check, or start the Humvee. I was an ambulance driver. Start the ambulance. Does this work? Does this work? Going through the checklist. Boom, 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 boom. And you got tired. You're like, man, this sucks. But you don't realize how the vehicle, 1 minute, something could be working. The next day, just not working. So you got to do a PMCS check for all your veterans out there over yourself. What that did was it taught you, if you look at basic, you're also checking yourself over, making sure you're okay. You know, did I shave in the morning? Am I good? Yes. It got you in a routine every day. Am I good to go? Yeah, I'm good today. You know, checking yourself out before you go to work. If you ain't feeling right, you need help. Don't just chalk it up and be like, I got to be there for the team. No, your personal health comes first. Always has, always will. I don't care what anybody on the job says. Your health comes first, because if you're jacked up, you can't operate and you shit the bed, then that's a downward effect. That goes downhill on everybody, and everybody says, man, he wasn't acting right. Something wasn't right. I just thought, no, always check, guys. If so and so ain't opening up and you see it, just check. And if it is a concern to you, they're not right, something's wrong, take it to the officer. You're all family. You got to look after each other. Nobody's getting in trouble because there was no trouble done. We got to make sure we have each other's back. I don't see enough of that on the job no more. I really don't. On this job, we got to have each other's back daily. Even on our 4 days off, there'd be times I'll send a text. You know, and if I don't hear something back, I'll text again. But if they say, yo, dude, I'm good. You know, you sure? Yep. All right, cool, man. I'll see you on work. My phone's always on. Come over. We'll throw some steaks on the grill. We'll boil a pot of coffee and we'll just talk. We'll throw a movie on. Heck, we'll play whatever. We'll go shoot golf. Even though I suck, we'll go fish. We'll do something that way we're able to figure something out. Remember, we are each other's keepers. We are each other's brothers and sisters. We got to look after each other for the continuity of this team, and that could help protect the citizens of the city. As a medic, the same thing. We see stuff as a medic, as an EMT or a paramedic that nobody should see. And it does have an effect on people. Check on each other. If you had a crap run, you're good, man. You good, bro. You good, sis. I'm fine. Listen to their tone. If they're not, then they're like, no, I'm good. No, they're not good. Watch out for them. Look for them. Make sure they're okay. Because we know with each other, if we're a bright, chippy, cheery demeanor, and then boom, or not, that's a flag. That's what's going on. So we got to be in tune and really understand how each other works and understand how we work. You got to watch your six. You got to watch each other's six. I don't care if it's a lieutenant. You got to watch the officer's six. The lieutenants are human too. It's just rank on the collar. Captains too. My old captain was like, hey, ain't no problem with you asking me if I'm okay, because they're human. You look after your officer, they're going to look after you, and not just because you're a firefighter and a lieutenant, because you're a teammate, you're human, and you're friends. Watch each other's six, but starting with your own. Get to know yourself. This is emotional awareness, mental awareness, physical awareness. All ties in hand, and we'll do that the next time. Actually, we will do that. We're going to talk about those next week. But I want you guys to start watching each other's six. You will notice how stronger those bonds become and how much more trusting of each other you will grow. And that is what builds a good, successful team. All right, guys, it is 8:30. I got to eat dinner. I got a shift tomorrow, first day back. Watch your six, watch each other's six. Everybody goes work together. Everybody comes home together. Take care.